now.
Okay, all right, great. Well, just thanks for joining me here. Just to introduce everybody, I'm Daniel. This is Ollie, my friend Kassahun here on the end on my far left. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, my name is Daniel Leslie. I grew up in Colorado and came to Washington, D.C. for work. Well, I'll just go ahead and let Ollie and then Kassahun introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Ollie Kantos, and I've worked here in the Washington, D.C. area for 15 years, originally from California, and I'm an attorney by profession.
Hello, my name is Kassahun. I'm originally from Ethiopia. I have been in the US for the last 3 years. Well, I'm not yet working. I'm looking for a job, and this is by profession. I have done law and sociology. First and second degree in law, and then I did BA in sociology. Thank you.
Great. Well, I guess people might be wondering, why are the three of us talking? So I guess first of all, it's pretty obvious what's unique about me. I'm in a wheelchair. That was what makes me somewhat unique. I broke my neck when I was 24, and so I can't move my arms or my legs. And I guess maybe Ollie, could I ask you to kind of share what kind of makes you unique?
Sure. I guess in terms of uniqueness, besides all of us being unique anyway, from a physical standpoint, I happen to be blind, and I've been blind my whole life as a result of premature birth. So, and as are my kids. So yeah.
Well, sure. I'm also blind, totally blind, but I was a shepherd. I was not originally blind. I lost sight at the age of around 8 or 9. And then the reason why I got blind, nobody knows, because I was born in the rural part of the country, so there was no any medical treatment, access, whatever. So I don't know. I don't know the reason, but I just became blind at the age of 8 or 9, as far as I remember. Yeah.
Well, I think all three of us have done some unique things over the past few years. So I guess first of all, let's talk a little bit about how we decided to choose the careers that we chose, and what are some of the obstacles that we faced as we were pursuing those careers. So I work at the Securities and Exchange Commission here in Washington, D.C. Before I started working at the SEC, I got a bachelor's and master's degree in accounting, and then after that I went to law school at Duke, and I got a law degree and an advanced law degree in international and comparative law. And then I decided what I wanted to do that would be a good match for that was kind of securities law. And so that's what I wanted to do because I thought it would be really interesting. I had some friends that I thought were smart that were doing law school, so I thought that would be really interesting to do. And with a disability, I thought that, I have an expensive lifestyle. I have a lot of medical expenses I have to be concerned about, so I needed to make sure I had as much education as possible to make sure I could have a career that could support the type of lifestyle that I needed to live. And some of the difficult things that I had to face as a person in a wheelchair was, first of all, there's just a lot of logistics to that. Because I can't use my hands, I had to figure out how I was going to read my textbooks. And I had, so what I ended up doing is using textbooks in an accessible format, like PDFs or electronically on my laptop. And there are a variety of other logistical issues kind of like that. I also had to deal with how other people approach me. So it can be difficult for other people to communicate with me because I'm always sitting down. I'm not standing up when I enter a room. So it can be a little bit awkward for some people to approach me, either because I don't have the body language that they do, or because they're just a little bit uncomfortable with my disability, or they don't know what type of expectations they should have from somebody with a disability. maybe they're wondering if I'm as smart as, everybody else. Maybe they need to speak louder or, use simpler language. So I had to demonstrate to all these people that they could feel comfortable around me, that even though I had different body language than other people, that they could deal with me like they dealt with somebody else, and that I was as intelligent, capable of doing the work as other people were. So those are some of the challenges that I had. Ollie, can I ask you to talk a little bit about how you made your career choices and the challenges you faced?
Sure, Dan, I'd be happy to talk about that. I actually wanted to be a lawyer since I was 10, because my grandfather was a member of Congress in the Philippines, and I went there and to visit along with my mom, and I met various other leaders there. And from the things that I saw in terms of the vast inequity between people who had a lot of money and others who didn't, I wanted to find a way to make a big difference in that. So I decided that I wanted to be a lawyer, both to make a difference and, to be honest, to make some money. So money's, I love being a capitalist. So
It's definitely an important factor.
oh yeah. They say money doesn't buy happiness, and my answer, neither does poverty. So I had was really wanting to be a lawyer, and along the way, it was tough. College, high school, and college went well, and law school just had its different challenges too, and because of the challenges that I had. I actually worried if I had made a mistake about wanting to be a lawyer, because I thought, all these other people are so much smarter than I am. I don't know if I made the right choice. But by then, I was already so far along. I thought, well, heck, let's just see how this works out. But to be honest, at one point, I actually wanted to quit, and I said, well, I don't know if I can really handle this, and so. I'm very close to my family, and so I went and told my mom and my dad that I don't think this is really working for me. And I have really strong parents, so they said, so it's not working for you? And I said, no, it's not working. And they said, well, that just means you have to work harder. I'm like, Mom, don't you care about my happiness? I thought you want me to be happy. She said, I do, and that's why I'm not going to let you go on this one. You have to stick it out. You have to do the best you can and make the most out of it. And in the short run, I was very unhappy, because I thought, you know what, I'm way out of my league. I don't know what I'm doing on this, and I don't know if this is best for me in terms of my skill set. But my mom had pushed on me in saying that if I were to quit now, I would be sending myself a strong message that when it gets tough, I just let it go. And I needed, if for nothing else, if for no other reason, I needed to stick with it to show myself that even if it was tough, I'd make it through. And so I ended up doing that, and I ended up at the very end doing really well, and ended up getting the highest grade in one of my classes, and then get another really good grade, and did well with other stuff. And then I became a lawyer, and then passed the bar, did all of that. And at the time that I passed the bar, it was in California, it was the second lowest pass rate in the history of the exam, and I just couldn't believe that I actually made it through. And the thing that I could never have anticipated, I thought, okay, well, great, now I'm a lawyer. And the first thought that I had when I got the news that I passed the bar was, wow, now I'm an unemployed lawyer. So I'm still broke. So then I ended up working for a disability rights organization, because I really care about civil rights for people with disabilities. And because it's a nonprofit organization, at the time I ended up getting $9.25 an hour as a lawyer. It's not much.
Wow, not much.
Not much. Lower than was lower than many of my cousins at the time who were not who didn't have the academic qualifications I did. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble, but I hope I can make it. But longer story short, I ended up getting recruited to become general counsel and director of programs for the American Association of People with Disabilities in DC. And that was 3 years after starting work. And the reason why that happened was because when I had my first job, even with what I was getting, I acted as if I was being paid $1 million after tax. So I put in 80 hours a week voluntarily, and I just walked around and just thought, you know what, I'm because the job I do, I'm worth a lot. So I carried myself that way only because I wanted to add that kind of value to the organization. And so even though at the beginning I wasn't paid so well, I still acted as if I was paid really well, because the one thing that I learned early on is that if we give value to the organization, we end up attracting more success to us if we give value in greater proportion to the pay we were getting. And so then after I got recruited to come to DC, the organization, the American Association of People with Disabilities, had a membership of 70,000 at the time, and I was general counsel and director of programs, and I worked on all sorts of issues within our field, and it was really exciting. And then roughly 2.5 years after that, I ended up going to the Justice Department, and I became a special assistant to the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights. And 20 months after that, I ended up at the White House working for the President of the United States as Associate Director for Domestic Policy, and having a portfolio that essentially spanned multiple agencies and had combined total operating budgets in the billions of dollars.
Wow.
That was really fun. And then so and the whole thought about doing better financially, that was no longer an issue, and so when looking back at all the things that have happened over the course of my career, which now I guess I've been out for it's been 18 years already. I look back and I still can't believe all the cool stuff I've gotten to do. But yet, had you asked me in law school, hey, or had you even told me in law school, hey, you stick this out, you're going to do all of these things, I would literally have never ever believed them, because I would have thought, that's just not accurate. That's not where I am. But see, here's the thing when it comes to any of us in our journey to be successful. We can't just judge on where we are. We have to judge things based on where we are going, and the way we determine that is to decide where we want to be, and to take an honest look at ourselves to determine whether we're actually taking action steps to moving toward that goal. Because if it's not really a goal if we're not working toward it.
One follow-up question. You mentioned that while you were in law school, you couldn't have imagined what your career would be like. At what point in time did you make goals for your future, and how far into the future would you plan for, and how far in the future do you plan for?
Well, these days I plan 25 years ahead. I literally think steps and steps and steps and steps ahead. But I've been making goals most of my life, but for me, the bigger issue was whether I actually believed that I would hit those goals.
Well, Kassahun, I guess, tell us a little bit about how you got into the career that you had, and some of the challenges you had getting into that career.
Thank you. To be honest, I didn't intend to be a lawyer. I was thinking of doing some study in English language when I was at high school, because I liked English very much. So I wanted to continue with it and do it at the university level. But once we had been at the freshman program, fortunately I had a great GPA for the first year for the freshman program. And then what happened was that if you get a good grade during your first year at university, you are supposed to go to schools like engineering, law, kind of thing. So my group, my people said, "Oh, you have a great score. You have a GPA. Why don't you go to law school?" And then I began to think of going to school, and then I joined law school. That's how I so I can say that my peer chose law for me. But interestingly enough, I enjoyed law school and enjoyed all the philosophy, the jurisprudence and everything. That was great. And then once I enjoyed law school, I began to love it. Then during my career, I was really happy and successful. I mean, I was able to do a lot of things in various organizations. But one thing that I was not happy with is that I was not able to be a lecturer. I would like to be a lecturer at the university. I tried hard to join the university to lecture. I couldn't do that. Not because I had less qualification than other teachers there, but just because I think I was blind. That's the problem. You know, Ethiopia being in the developing world, people don't have the right attitude toward blindness. I myself don't think blindness is a barrier to any problem. To be honest, I rebel against blindness. I don't care about blindness. All I see is what I can do as a blind person. So I didn't care, but others think that once you are blind, you have some limitation. So that was the only thing I was not happy about. I wanted very much to be a lecturer at the university, but I couldn't. Another problem was that my feeling, by nature, I like to do things for others. I feel compassionate to do. So it's good to have a great life in business and something, but that doesn't give me the magnitude of the pressure I wanted. I just want to be involved in helping others, disability, gender, women with disability, and whatever. So law couldn't provide me with that. Then I began to think, let me do something about society. Then I went to sociology department and got my BA degree. Then I was able to combine law and sociology, which was really grateful to me.
Well, it's clear that you guys have had a lot of success in your careers. Let's talk about keys to success. And I guess we can kind of keep this an open discussion. What do you think are the keys to your success? Maybe Kassahun, you want to start us off?
Okay, all right. I think the first thing that led to my success is accepting myself the way I am. I was not grown with my family, because services in Ethiopia are in urban areas, and my family are in the rural part of the country. So you usually struggle with yourself, not with your family. You visit your family probably once or twice a year. So despite my being so alone with no family support, I became so successful basically because I think I accepted blindness, and I didn't take it to be a barrier to life. All I was worried about is just to be successful ahead of my life. So that I think one important thing. The second thing that I think was responsible for, to be honest, is that I got married so early. That helped me, because she was there, and for two reasons. One, my wife was motivating me to do my academic study and whatever. Secondly, if you have somebody else whom you are responsible for, you feel more obliged to do more, because your responsibility in that case will be heavier. So I think that by itself helped me to be successful. And another one, probably, there are good people in Ethiopia who can help you read materials, because there were no computers and there were no materials in Braille. So we used to use readers to do our studies and whatever. So there were so many Ethiopians very willing to read for us. So I think they also, their presence, the fact that they were around, was also, I think, one factor that led me to be successful. So I think those are the some 2-3 things that
so it's accepting your situation as a challenge, not as a barrier.
Yeah.
I guess finding your motivation and your support with your family. And what was the third one? think?
The third one is the other people, the presence of other people supporting
yeah.
you, or in
It's
a
like
reading.
Your inner circle of support and then kind of your outer circle of support.
Yeah, the community, the external world, friends, the community, those people, although you are independent, although you are proud of yourself, you always need good people around you, because life is mutual, life is interdependence, and it is human beings, it's people around you that makes life interesting. There are so many people who played important role in your life. Once I'm here in the United States, I can imagine there are so many people who have been trying, to help me win in life. So you always need people have a stake in your life. You get successful because of other people. So the third factor is that there are people
around you want to see you succeed.
Right, and they play a role.
Right. Well, Ollie, what do you see as some of the keys to success in your life?
If I had to put them in any rank order, I guess the first thing would be persistence, and finding ways to keep moving forward no matter whatever the circumstances are. The second thing would be visualization. In visualizing literally what we want out of life, I can tell you from direct experience that visualization is critical for things working out in a successful way, because that visualization, when done daily and when backed up by action, actually creates a momentum for achieving those things.
Now, when you say visualization, what do you mean? Do you mean, like, to me that would mean picturing success I want to see, what I want to be, what I want to do?
Absolutely, that's it.
Is that what you mean?
That's it. That's exactly it. Yep, it's exactly what you said. It's picturing what you want to do, be, and have, and doing it without apology, and knowing that whatever we want out of life, our most ambitious goals and dreams, and literally including a financial life, spiritual well-being, our career success, as well as things we want to do for fun, and the ways we want to give. All of those things are really important because then when we look at our lives in terms of the broader context of where we're heading and where we want to go, then that keeps us grounded so we don't move astray. Because if we know what we want and we focus on it, then the chances of our deviating from the path we've already set are lower than if we just sort of go along and just let things happen to us. Because if we're passive, things will happen and we just react to it. But that's not really a way to move forward in the most direct way to achieving what you want in the most minimum time possible. And the third thing for me, in terms of what's key, is our faith, and faith in the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and in making sure that we know that we're grounded in knowing that we are loved by our Father in heaven, and that because of the atonement we may return to live with our Father in heaven. People might say, how the heck does that have anything to do with success? And to me, it has everything to do with it, because when we, and people have different faith traditions, but for me personally, this is our faith tradition. And when we know that, then we can always keep the eternal perspective in mind, in knowing that everything we do here in this life is only a glimpse of the vast and incomprehensible eternity that still lies ahead of us. This time on earth is just not even a blink of an eye within the broader concept of eternity. But when we know that, it then helps us put things in perspective, and it helps me put things in perspective, because I know that there's always another day, and there's always an opportunity to do more. And if things ever get rough, which at times for all of us things get rough, we can hold on to the Savior. For those of us who are part of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we can hold on to the Savior, and we can draw strength from our testimony in our love for our Savior, and in our love for our Father in heaven. And it's really important So to me, religious life is not separate and apart from secular life. Religious life enhances our secular life and expedites the kind of fortitude that enables us to be successful in whatever we want to do.
That was really good. So let me just recap really quick. So the 6 factors of success you guys were talking about, and I'm going to kind of mix these up. I guess the first one is accepting your situation as a challenge, not as a barrier. Developing a vision of what you want to be, what you want to have, what you want to give other people. Persevering in that vision. Seeking help from your inner circle of support and from your more extended circle of support, and having faith that your efforts and the efforts of others are going to result in success and the desired outcome that you have. Let's talk a little bit about vision. How do I develop a vision for what I want? If I don't know what my career is going to be, or what I want in 5 years, how do I figure some of those things out?
First,
how do you decide? Either one of you, I guess.
Go ahead, Ollie, please.
How do I develop a vision?
we develop it by just imagining that we had Aladdin's magic lamp. Remember that old story of Aladdin and the magic lamp? You have 3 wishes, and anything that you want can happen. All you do is make a wish, and the genie will grant those 3 wishes. But the difference here is, imagine that you have Aladdin's lamp, but the 3-wish cap has been lifted. Now you have whatever wish you want, and in perpetuity with however many wishes you want. Then if you imagine you have that with no holds barred and having whatever we want, then the key there is to write it all down. Write it with detail and imagine who and what life is to be like, but it has to be backed with a lot of emotion. It can't be this distant thing where, well, I guess I want to be successful and have money.
So it can't be like, I want a Ferrari and $10 billion. It has to be something that I'm really because it'd be great to have $10 billion, but I can't really be passionate about that because that's not.
Mm-hmm. But let's say, using that example, if you say, I want a Ferrari that's candy apple red, that when you come in with the top down, people are going to come up and say, wow, what a car. And with that $10 billion to have it after tax, just to imagine being able to spend it wherever and to give to causes that you care about, including causes like the National Federation of the Blind, and giving money to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and being able to do things for the community, like working for schools and other charities. See, the difference between those 2 examples is that the second way is very, 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 very specific. And if we each do that for ourselves, but we do it with intensity, and it has to be intensity, even proverbially speaking, with color, with emotion, with something where you can practically reach out and touch it.
So you're saying, come up with that dream, but then ground it. What exactly, if you had $10 billion, what is that exactly is that going to mean? What are you going to do with that money? Who are you going to help out? What are you going to buy with that? And then use that to kind of form your vision.
Right. A different example from what I visualize, I'd say, I feel so grateful to be a member of Congress, and to be able to vote on issues that matter, and to lead in crafting laws that really help the world in very specific ways. I love how I'm close to my sons, and how they're close to me, and how our family dynamic is just unbreakable. And it's so exciting to me that I have more money in the bank than I ever knew what to do with, because that money is just sitting there, and I can just go wherever I want, and I can fly first class like I do, and it's amazing, because I fly first class so much that people on the airlines, with my favorite airline, United Airlines, they know me well enough where I say, oh, hi Betsy, or whatever, or hi Barbara, or hi John, or whatever. They know me by name. See, when I just did that just now, even just doing it just here, I can literally picture the whole thing. and then people would say, Oli, aren't you being delusional? I'm like, nope, I'm aiming for that because that's the next level. There was a time when I said, way back when I originally visualized, I'm like, I'm so excited that I have a job that I love, where my job is literally to help make a difference in the community, and I make a good living, and I just love the life that I have with my family and with people I care about. And the thing is, all those things that I imagined, I have now. I mean, I gravitated toward it. So now that I have that, then I create new visions of what I want, taking off from the level that I'm at now. But it's any of us. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to the ambition that we want out of life. It's always a matter of incorporating the elements of what do we want to make our own lives better, but also what do we imagine doing to be giving to other people. That's always the case. And this is kind of important real quick. I know we're running out of time. But what's also important here is that when we learn to give along the way, whether we have $10 or $10 million, then it's just easier, because when we learn to be giving along the way, it's just a matter of who we are. The person who's giving, when they become wealthy, has more to give away. The person who's stingy, when they're wealthy, has more to hoard. So it's always a matter of imagining us in the broader world and loving the fact that we each and every day don't get to wait for some distant future to be of service to others. We get to do it right now. And when we love that fact, and when we get to see what we do and we give whatever we've got to other people, knowing that love is like a fountain where you can keep drawing from the fountain, but the water will keep flowing, as opposed to success or love or whatever being a pizza where you take a piece and there's less left for everybody else. That's not I don't subscribe to the lack mentality. I always feel like there's the key is the world of abundance, and I think that's what can really help us all when we recognize that there's so many blessings in the world that are the blessings that are possible in the world are too many that can ever be counted.
Yeah. Did you have any thoughts on that, Kassahun, or
Vision is really a great thing, a great concept. What is very important in human life. Unfortunately, I came to learn that very late. I don't know if that applies to most of us, but many of us follow life conventionally. They just, our family or the system design the way which we will go in life. We just go to school and then graduate and go to work, and without developing any specific direction in life. But later I learned that there should be some vision ahead of us, and that starts from understanding the purpose in life. You need to have some sense in life. I have to know what is the purpose of my living. What direction should I go? As Ollie pointed out in the previous question, if you have to put some goal, although setting a goal is not an end by itself, you have to work towards it. You need to take action towards it, but you have to in the first instance put some goal, and that's part of vision. So if I don't have anything toward which that I move, it's like it would be like a ship with no direction. So then I began to develop vision. Where do I want to go, and in what direction, professionally, in terms of social life and whatever. So I think vision is very important, and it should come and arise from one's internal determination to move ahead.
All right, maybe here's our final question. So I guess I'll kind of ask this one to Kassahun first. How do we accept our situation as a challenge instead of a barrier to the success that we're visualizing?
How do you come again? Sorry.
Yeah. How do we accept the situation that we're in as a challenge rather than a barrier to our success?
That's a very important question, because accepting our situation as a challenge is not a simple thing, particularly when you live in a society, the one I was grown up, because in a society like mine, it's very, very difficult to be blind or to be a person with disability, because you have so many challenges there, from the environmental barrier, social barrier, the psychological, everything. The service is not there and everything. So most children in Ethiopia, children with disabilities, are out of school. Only 3% have access to school. 97% of them are out of school. And that is basically because the family and the parents and the attitude and everything, they don't have the belief, the trust that these children will be able to lead a meaningful life.
Yeah.
So in such a situation, accepting one situation should come from your own. In a situation where you don't have somebody to advise you that, well, it's okay to be blind, although you are blind, or you are a person with a physical disability, it's okay, you can manage. You know, in a situation where you don't have those kind of counseling, you need to figure out for yourself. I mean, once you go to school, it means that you are important. It means that you deserve to go to school. You learn from that. And then it means that, okay, if I go to school, it means that I will also graduate. If I graduate, then it means that I will go to work. You know, this kind of investigation. And then once you are sure that you will go to school, it means that you have to accept that although you are blind or you are with physical disability, it means that you can manage. So I think it arises out of the understanding that you can navigate in society, and then you can do that despite your limitations. So I think it's a process.
Yeah. So it's accepting not just your current situation, but accepting that you're going to succeed. You're going to have success in spite of that situation.
Exactly. That's
and
right.
that it's going to be a challenge, but that you're going to be able to do it.
Right. You have to be sure that you will succeed. Unless if you are defeated at the very beginning, then you stop there. It means that you don't accept the situation and you don't accept your blind or whatever. But if you can look through it, through the experience, through the adversity, and then if you can see across, there is something good after that, then I think it means that you are accepting your situation. It's not a simple thing, but it's possible.
Yeah. It's like accepting the future success, and rather than don't accept a current defeat.
Right. Otherwise, you will end up there.
Yeah.